Hi, everybody. I am Scare Dad,
And I'm Halloween Dan.
and we are middle-aged men talking about Halloween. And right now, you're watching part two. So if you haven't seen part one, I need you to pause this, open a new window, because I don't want you to lose it. Go to Halloween Dance channel and check out part one. Because in part one, we are talking about all the new stuff that's already come out. We've got Morris costumes, we've got Lowe's, we've got Distortion, Spirit. We've already got stuff coming out. It's crazy.
It's
But
mental.
now, part two, we're going to talk about kind of where we see this year going, some of our predictions, state of the industry. So it's going to be fun. Well, I think it's fun. I hope you'll have fun too.
It's fun.
So it's fun, right? It's okay.
It's fun. It's
Yeah, a
fun.
couple of middle-aged guys talking about
We're just
Halloween.
talking about Halloween. It's fun.
So,
It's very fun.
so thanks for watching, but make sure you check out part one on Halloween Dance channel.
I will just excuse myself if I sound a bit bunged up. I have got a bit of a cold, but
Oh
I'm
no,
okay. I'm not dying or anything. It's just a cold. So
yeah, you don't
yeah.
sound that
So if you
bad,
see me like doing all this, I'm not. I'm just.
all right?
I'm just slowly dying. That's all it is.
Kind of every day of my life, right? Just a
Yeah,
very
yeah. Every
slow
day,
march
just
towards
getting
death.
slowly getting towards death. I was like, I said, okay, while we're just briefly talking about this morbid subject, okay, we were talking the other day about death, and we were like, oh, what do you want to do? Should we need to write a will? Blah blah blah. All these adult boring conversations that I really don't want to be a part of. But then I was like, all I know is I want a huge tombstone, and she was like, what? I was like, yeah. I don't want to be in some little vase on somebody's windowsill or something. I want to be in the ground, massive monolith of some description, just like the most gothic thing you've ever seen. She's like, oh, of course, of course. She's like, I'm pretty sure nowadays, like, because of English heritage and stuff, you're not allowed to have anything that's a bit, bizarre. I was like, sod English heritage, bury me in some field, stick up some huge bloody mausoleum. I want you to bankrupt yourself building a mausoleum so that I get to spend eternity in some gothic ridiculousness. And she was like,
What?
no.
You need some kind of like shrine for all your YouTube fans to come
Just
visit, right?
something, just some Halloweeny shrine. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Pray to Dan, the Halloween freak. Yeah, no, I don't. It's not going to happen. I'm going to end up in a vase. That's what's going to happen.
What if we could give you a giant tombstone, but it's made of foam? Is that okay?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, stick me under a tombstone made of foam with a
Perfect.
comical name. He I don't know what I can't make up on that.
IP
He just
freely.
said IP freely. Yeah,
There you go.
I just said I was ill or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. That'd be fun.
Perfect.
Perfect. Now on to the next subject. Oh, just wanted to add one thing. Just mention one thing. You may have heard this. I only heard this yesterday. Have you heard that Spirit have kind of joined forces with Beastcraft? Did you hear this one?
Well, I know like last year they were selling some of their props online. That
Yes.
started last year, but it's not necessarily like Beastcraft is like designing stuff for them. It kind of just sounds
Okay.
like Spirits selling some of their stuff, unless something's changed.
Okay.
But what I saw last year was like if you go on now, I think there's like a head on a pike or something, one of those type of props that's
Right.
you can
Okay.
buy through the Spirit website. They
Okay.
probably get a little kickback,
Yeah.
and helps promote cross promote. But
Hmm.
um, it would be cool if they were helping like Spirit with designing stuff, and there's like a mid range line, right? So if they had like the Beastcraft, then the Spirit, and then you had like the $500 or $600 range. That was like a really cool looking but more simple prop. I'd be down for that.
I hadn't heard this at all until like yesterday when somebody commented and I was like, in what sense? Like he was like, yeah, they'd been selling things that were quite expensive on their site, but then the what they maybe had heard was that they were collaborating a little more,
And maybe that is
which
that could be
would be
cool,
cool. But I don't
right?
know. Who knows? That'd be awesome, right?
That would be awesome.
Mm. And anyway, we will see. We
And
will see.
if we get Distortions and Home Depot to collaborate. Now
Yeah.
we'd be
What? That'd be
talking.
amazing.
If you get the
That would be
Distortions
talking.
look but just get some of that facial movement and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. I know. I am again. I am. I'm really looking forward to Home Depot this year. I'm really looking forward to it. I think last year they just hit the nail so hard on the head. They just got it so right on so many different things. And don't get me wrong, I understand they can't get it right every year. And there are some years, like I would argue that 2023 was maybe not their best, and 2024 was far better. So maybe 2025 might be a bit, I don't know,
I
who
don't
knows?
know that
But
I necessarily agree with that sentiment. I know, and I've heard a
no,
lot of people say it, but I think the Predator of the Night was a
oh yeah,
pretty awesome
amazing,
prop. Lethal Lily was amazing. She ushered
of
in all
course,
that stuff.
100%. I think it was just, I think all it was from the 2023 season was, I think there was a huge amount of hype, and it was like the first year where the how do I put it? Maybe we didn't see the things we'd come to expect from them. Maybe
Okay.
like they kind of redid everything. You know, you start with the 12-foot Skelly, and then next minute it's the pumpkin Skelly. Then you've got it's everything seems to be getting bigger and brasher and
Right.
louder and brighter. And then 2023 came along, and it felt a little bit more subdued. Like they definitely put a bit more thought into their props, and Lethal Lily is the perfect example of that. Like,
Right.
what an amazing thing! And
THD
THD
3000.
3000, a lot more thought into their stuff. But I think maybe on the for scale, it had all been maybe scaled down a little bit, and I think a lot of people, just including me a little bit, felt a bit like, ooh, maybe just it was good, but it could have been better. That kind of feeling a little bit. And then last year came along, and everyone, it was just like, whoa, hang on a minute. Now, we've got the whole shebang. That was like, for me, that was like the perfect lineup.
Yeah.
They couldn't have got it any better.
One thing I'll say, I heard more this year complaints
Mm.
about build quality with Home Depot.
Okay. Right.
I don't know if that's a trend. I mean, I know there's different, it's different manufacturers and stuff, and more so with the biggest issue people seem to have was the Knight Dullahan had some
Okay.
some issues, and which is kind of a kind of at first I wasn't going to get him just because I had got all the stuff, but he
Mm.
looked so cool that I was thinking like, oh, can I try to sneak him in when the price goes down a bit? And I kind of shied away because I heard people just complaining about some like
Mm.
they couldn't get some of the screws to fit in to secure things
Oh, right.
and a couple of things breaking. So and some other
Right.
Home Depot stuff too. So I'm hoping that it was just a production thing and it'll get fixed. Because overall, I've never had an issue with Home
No.
Depot except the
No.
broken stormtrooper foot. But I did get the
Oh,
replacement.
yeah. Oh, you did. Oh,
I
that's
did get
good.
it. Yep, I just got to put it on. But it's the foot, so I'm just like, oh, I gotta take it all apart to put the new foot on. So I will when I eventually set it up. Yeah,
That's cool. Did I tell you about my Lethal Lily having an issue? Did I tell
yeah,
you? Yeah, I got her fixed. She
you
sat, my
did.
friend Si fixed her. Yeah.
Oh, good,
It
awesome.
was basically just, you know what I'm like. I'm not technical, but he took off the back of the head, and it was basically a screw had come loose that held. I'm gonna have to look at the picture now again to remind myself, but it was basically the servo that drove them open and close the eyelids. A screw had come out and had obviously fallen away, and I didn't even know. And so it was just on. The servo was just doing nothing. It was just turning and not driving
Okay,
anything
not moving
anymore.
it.
And he said after that, because he's got Lethal Lily too, that he
Yeah,
went and checked his, and his screw was coming loose. So he tightened his up too,
no,
and he was like, so if you
good
hear
to
any
know.
more reports of people whose eyelids are not opening on their Lethal Lilies, it's actually quite a simple fix. It's
Nice.
literally a screw.
So
So,
I did get well, it's funny because I repurchased her when she was on sale this year,
oh, you did?
but then I also saw that they had a replacement head online, came back in, so I ordered that. So now maybe she'll be a modded prop. They'll
Yes.
take one of them and
Okay.
turn her into something.
Oh, so you've actually got the two. So you've got
So
her
now I
and
actually,
a new head.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But
Oh,
then
that
once I,
could be
I saw the
awesome.
head and I'm like, well, I have the rest of the props. So I might as well
Yeah, yeah,
get the
yeah.
head too, right?
Yeah.
I don't
See,
know.
like if I was braver, I would do what Wicked Makers did to theirs
Right.
and mod it. But I'm not brave enough because I don't want to break her because I love her.
Right.
But if I was braver or I had the money to have a second as standby,
Right.
I'd definitely mod her.
I
Definitely.
I also got a Yoda head so
Okay.
that I can go in and really because I wanna try to get in and reprogram it, but
Okay.
to get into the head, I think I might have to split the skin in the back
Oh, right. Okay.
or cut something on the inside to get it to peel back right.
Oh, so because
Um,
it's latexed all the way around, is it?
yeah, it can pull off, but it's the way they screw the head together holds it in place. So I could maybe just cut those little parts, get it out. I don't know. I gotta figure it out,
Mm,
but so I got
I'm
one to play
sure
with just in case. So
a man of your caliber, I'm sure, will figure it out.
yeah, or completely screw it up, but that's why I got this.
One of the two. It'll be fine. It's a 50-50.
So now, why don't we get into what are some predictions for what we think we're going to see or we would really like to see?
Oh, God. Oh. I mean, I don't know. I think for me this year, I would like to see. It's difficult for me to say anything because obviously I'm here in the UK. So I would like to see really a continuation when it comes to Home Depot, a continuation of what they did last year. I would like to see a more of a development of classic monsters. I love the classic monsters. I don't think you can go far wrong with them. I
Yeah,
know we've got this big vampire from Lowe's, but that's not really what I mean when I say that. I think I almost want to see more like a classic Dracula character
I'm right
in
there with
some.
you.
I think that's what I want to see. Someone do because the ones that have happened before have always been kind of goofy, like kind of a
Right.
bit cartoony. And I do. I just kind of. I think if we can create Frankenstein's monsters that look like what you think Frankenstein's monster is going to look like, we need to have a classic Dracula
Yep.
character. I think that would just be obvious for me. And as it's got nothing to do with my horn or what I want to produce in my horn or anything. I just really like that.
Like I kind of want just like a cool, like kind of strong, powerful looking Dracula figure, you know?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we don't have that. We have the kind of vampire in between and like I'm
Yeah.
thinking like the full on human form
Yes.
gives us a really cool, he's got the fangs, he's got that kind of,
Yes.
I don't
Slick
know.
back hair, the
Yeah.
cape, the
Uh,
the whole classic look.
you
Yeah,
know,
that's what I want to see.
so let's stick with that line, right? So they had the one Frankenstein appeared to be the first of a line.
Mm.
Um, I would love to have a bride, a Frankenstein.
Yes.
We've never had a good
Yes.
bride. Funny enough
Oh.
that the in the Moore's Costumes catalog they have skeletons and they have a Frankenstein monster skeleton and they have a bride skeleton. I don't know if you
Oh,
saw that,
cool. No, I didn't see that. No.
but they're just basic skeletons with like it's
It's
nothing
still
like cool.
cool.
But
It's still
the
fun.
the idea though, I'd love to have a
Mm.
bride
Yep.
and I'd love to have a really good creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes. Creature from the Black Lagoon, 100%. Love to see that. That
Yeah,
would be amazing. Because he's ignored, isn't he, the creature from the Black Lagoon? We do
he
not
is.
get enough of him anywhere, really.
Nope.
So, yeah, no, that would be so cool. That
And
would be
that's
so
what Lowe's
cool.
should have had with their
That
underwater
would
line,
nautical range. This is what I mean. That guy
right?
with the helmet on, yes, and then that next to it attacking him, yes, amazing. Would have been
So
so good.
okay.
Missed the boat there, literally.
Boom, boom.
Boom.
Uh,
Uh,
all right, so to go
go
back, I
on.
sorry I cut you off, but I just wanted
No,
to
no.
I wanted to throw those in there because when I think of like classic monster line, like obviously you've got Wolfman and
Yes.
Mummy, things like that, but like
Mm.
those are the ones I kind of feel like have been ignored that I would like to
Yeah,
see.
that's really all it is with me. I think witches and stuff. I love witches, and I always get excited when they're bringing out new witches. But in honesty, I think I, again, there's only so many times you can reinvent the wheel, and a witch is a witch.
Yeah,
Lily is spectacular, so I don't. I'd be interested to see if they could develop a Lily-esque prop further,
yeah,
like give us something even more. Like I think the only thing that's missing from Lily is a bit of body movement. Like can we give her some extra movement as well as head movement? But I don't know. I'm just excited to see what we get. I'm excited to see what comes out of Transworld and what we get from the big professional firms, even though it's way outside of my zone. I just get excited by all that kind of stuff, seeing the concepts and the ideas they're bringing out. Plus, I always think those things filter down anyway, don't they? Eventually, some slightly more stripped back version ends up in these stores anyway. Personally, for me, I'm just hoping Costco has a better year because that's our bread and butter here, Costco. I'm just hoping that we see something. I'd love to see a Frankenstein on this side of the pond of any sort at this point. Again, classic monsters going down that road. Yeah, that's what I've got my fingers crossed for this year. And also a John Doe. I want a John Doe, but that's just me personally. That's
Right.
just me
You're
personally.
gonna make that happen this year. I got a good
I
feeling
have
about
to
it.
try and find one somewhere. Yeah, but that's it. Where are you seeing the future? What are you hoping for this year?
So I like the classic monsters, like you kind of said. I also just think like design something we've never seen before. Like give us a cool monster, like just like something that's a creepy looking creature that could be alien, monster, whatever. Like, rather than seeing 19 witches and 16 clowns, just make a cool
Yeah,
monster. I think
yeah,
that would be awesome. I would love to see something like that. Something that like
yeah,
invokes that nightmare thing.
yeah. I think the area that gets avoided apart from like the big boys like distortions is the whole. I'm gonna say this word wrong. It's cryptids, isn't it?
Hmm.
Cryptids. I
Yep.
can't say that word. I don't know why I can't say it, but you know what I mean. Like the
Yeah.
monsters, like Bigfoot and all them creatures,
Right. Mothman, things like that.
Mothman, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And like the UK's got tons of weird legends and myths and stuff. America's got loads of weird legends and myths and stuff. I think that's an area that's long been ignored, that I
Right.
don't understand why it's been ignored, because some of these creatures are awesome. Mothman is a great one. Love
Yep.
that. I think that'd be so cool. Even Bigfoot, even though you can kind of make a comedic Bigfoot if you want to, you could also make a really terrifying Bigfoot.
Of course. Yeah.
I know, it sounds bad because I like watching these programs about Bigfoot and stuff. So like in the southern bit of America, they have like, is it called like stink apes or something? It's like a stink ape or
Yeah.
something.
There's some weird name. I can't remember what
It's
it
like a
is though.
weird name like that, but it's basically Bigfoot, but like a slightly smaller, more aggressive version of Bigfoot.
Right.
It's like that would be cool. That would like a swampy Bigfoot. Could you imagine
Right.
that? That'd be awesome.
Give us
Um,
a Yeti, a Chupacabra.
the Chupacabra.
The
That's another
Spirit
one.
has a little like latex one that actually I thought looked
Yes.
kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's one of those
Yeah.
things where it's like $60. It's small. And
Yeah.
it was kind of on my list last year. I was like, it's kind of a cool little thing to
Mm,
have. But
yeah. I just think that's an area that hasn't gone into enough, and I'm waiting for somebody to do it. And I think was it? Oh, it was. Oh yeah, Home Depot brought out that. What the hell was that thing a couple of years ago? With the antlers that looked like a moose, but it wasn't a
the swamp
moose.
monster thing,
That was about as close to that as we've ever got, and
right.
it's like, no, that's not what we meant.
When they,
That was
when they designed it, it looked like they took, those books where like the picture of the person's cut in three and you can flip the parts and they
yeah.
just randomly light up. Kind of looks like they did
That
that with
was
that
what
one,
it. I bet that's what they did. I bet they all
right?
had like moose, alligator, werewolf.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's just no. That's not what we mean. We mean actual monsters people have heard of before, and give them some cool, scary little thing. And some of these as well work in other displays as well. Like there are certain, like I always say about aliens. I like aliens and UFO stuff, but I wouldn't personally buy it because it hasn't really got a place in my display unless I completely change my display. But then some of these classic monsters, like I was actually going to make a video about some of the legendary monsters of the UK because some of them are so cool. They're like,
Really?
they're really creepy and stuff. And I know they're never going to make them sort of things into props, but part of me wishes they would.
Yeah.
You know, they're like hags that come out of swamps and eat your children and stuff like that. And it's like,
Ooh.
it's like, whoa, huh, creepy, but cool. Can you imagine something like that emerging out of a swamp? And that's where my brain goes. It's like that would be a creepy way to go with witches, as an example. Like it's not a million miles off a witch, but instead of it being a witch around a cauldron, you've got this creepy thing that's like emerging out of a swamp or something. You know, that's
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
You know?
That's just like instead of doing two witches last year, why didn't Lowe's give us a siren?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
That would make
This is what I
sense.
mean. That would make sense.
Pirate, you get a pirate ship, shipwreck, the siren there. You could,
Siren. Yeah,
cool, awesome.
100%. Yeah. But no, we get two random witches, one of which has a bit more movement than the other. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's fine. But where's the imagination? Come on, guys.
Even you could have given us a creepy mermaid, but instead of making it like this
Yeah.
Ariel, like pretty little thing,
Yeah.
it's a weird, monstrous kind of creature. Like,
Monstrous. Yeah. I mean, that's not a million miles away from what Banshee is in a way. It's that
yeah,
vibe, you
exactly.
know, a
Yeah,
siren type vibe. No, we just get the same generic stuff again and again, don't we? And that's the only downside to it, I think. And again, it ties into what I said about werewolves and stuff. It's not that I don't like werewolves and I hate, you know, I'm like, oh, disappointed by another werewolf prop. It's just I want to see something new and different,
right.
and we just keep on seeing the same thing again and again.
Could give us a bear, where there's even other were animals, right?
Yeah, of course there are. Yeah, were rabbits and
Right?
all kinds of stuff.
Hey,
So
I
yeah,
take a cool Bunnicula,
yeah.
little vampire bunny.
Yeah, can you imagine that? That'd be cool. I know it's not going to happen, but my hopes for this year is that at least from one of these guys, we see something truly unique, something that we all kind of go, "Whoa, never would have imagined that." You know,
Right.
that's what I think we need. Something to absolutely melt everyone's brains. I suppose, in a way, I think what everyone's kind of waiting for is something that again reinvents what Halloween is in a way.
Right.
Not the celebration, but like Home Depot, I always feel kind of reinvented the way people think about what they're going to display
Right.
with all their big stuff. Like we've all seen the 12 foots now, but when they first came out, everyone was like, I can go to a store and buy this, you know, like
Right.
this is crazy. And I think I think 2025, it feels like the year. Let's let 25 years since the year 2000. Let's see something truly historic. You know,
Right.
it feels like one of them years.
I think too, I would even be down with if you want to stick with the kind of the Halloween classics that we get every year.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see them hire an artist with a distinct style. And this is the
Yes.
so and so collection, and it's their take on
Yes.
it. So even though you're getting a witch,
Ooh.
you're getting a witch that has completely
Yeah.
different style that also
Yeah. Yeah.
matches the
Yeah.
style of whatever werewolf they do and other things. So that
Ooh. Yeah.
um
That's a good way of. That
you,
would be cool.
it's like so each year you could have you could have some standard props to play it safe, but then have
Mm.
like the collection. This guy designs 5 or 6 props all in their own
Yeah.
style, and
Mm.
awesome. Like give us something
That'd
like
be so
that.
cool. Very
And that's
cool.
kind of like what we get from Distortions in a sense. We get their unique take on things, and it's always
Of
awesome.
course. It
And it's
is
like,
always awesome.
why can't retail do that? You know?
Yeah. Because of money. They're all thinking about their bottom line, aren't they, all the time?
But
So,
all it takes is one. If Lowe's did something like that, it wouldn't be hard for them to take it from Home Depot.
of course. Of course.
They're not that far behind, but
Yeah. And this is what I mean. It takes one of these firms to do it to make all the others stand to attention and go, okay, this works. Let's also do this too, but let's see if we can outdo the other guy. And it's an arms race, isn't it? And it's an arms race that depressingly hasn't begun in the UK.
yeah,
like, I'm like, oh, come on, someone, just do something amazing, and it'll start. It only just takes that spark, and it'll happen. I'm 100% certain of it.
Yeah. How do you see, obviously this doesn't affect your market at all, but
Mm.
as far as the Halloween market, how do you think the closure of a Party City
Party City.
and even a Big Lots,
Big Lots, yeah.
brands like that were kind of getting into the game and kind of starting to make a name for themselves
Mm.
aren't there anymore?
Um, I don't think it's good for it, to be honest. I
No,
don't think it's a positive move for it
no.
because I think the more competitors you have in a market like that, the more like so. I think that Party City, what they did was it made maybe like Lowe's as an example push to the limits of what they could do because they were like, holy crap, they're taking our business here. We need to think of something impressive here and really. And then last year, the last few years, Lowe's has really kind of stepped it up again a bit. I don't think it's a good thing that they've gone. And I'm sad that they've gone because they had some really unique things, that are
Right.
like that. Definitely not last year so much, but the year before was just like blew everyone's minds, didn't it? It's like
I
no one expected this.
I thought again, not last year. Last year I wasn't super impressed.
Mm.
And I think that's probably because they were basically
On
going
their
out of
way out,
business.
yeah, exactly.
But I thought the year before you kind of had Lowe's and Home Depot competing, and then I kind of felt like they were going for Spirit's audience with the pop-up scares and stuff, because Spirit's not so great with the kind of like realistic movement stuff. But the one thing they have is the jump scares, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I thought Party City was going for that, the drop down scarecrow, the pop-up pumpkin.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
had those scares in there, and it's like, oh, all right, now we get some competition for Spirit,
Yeah.
and that disappeared. And
And
then
now it's gone. Yeah.
Party City and Spirit were both, I thought, lackluster last year, and
Yeah,
um,
terrible. I mean, Party City, you could argue, had a bit of an excuse. Spirit, I don't really know what happened last year with Spirit. I was quite disappointed, and I get critique. I get people going, "Well, it doesn't matter because you're not from America anyway. You're not from the US. It doesn't affect you." And I'm like, "No, you're right. It doesn't. It's just that as an outsider, as a bystander, kind of looking in, I'm kind of watching, going, "What's all the fuss about, guys? Because that's not that great. Like, it's okay, but it's not that great." Like when I first started this channel and when I first started really getting into Halloween, even on over here, Spirit was the name that everyone, if you liked Halloween, you knew the name Spirit
right,
Halloween.
yeah,
And they were the first sort of props I ever sort of was like, oh wow, that's so cool, were Spirit props.
right,
And I don't know, I think I just felt like last year they kind of let themselves down a little bit. Like they were just like resting on their laurels is what I'd say. Like just like we've achieved so much. We're Spirit Halloween. We don't have to prove ourselves. Here's our stuff. Enjoy. And it's like, yeah, it's cool, but it's also very similar to a lot of stuff you've done before.
right.
Where's the pushing for the next goal? You know what I mean? Whereas the other firms are doing that. They're pushing themselves and constantly reimagining themselves.
I almost wonder if like the whole Spirit Christmas thing maybe diverted some resources. I don't know.
Mm,
It just,
maybe, yeah.
I
I've
mean,
not heard a lot about that. Did it go? Was it in? Did it
I never
work? I
got there.
mean,
I didn't
no,
really care too much, you
no.
know. I don't know. I just think that Spirit was kind of did more of what they do. I haven't really seen them pushing anything forward. Well, I can't say that. They tried with the motion tracking.
Yes,
I didn't love the prop that they chose for it, and the movement was,
exactly.
a little kind of fixed spot turning, so it wasn't
Yes.
smooth, but
No.
I give them credit for that. They did push
Yeah.
that. That was good. But then a lot of the other stuff was just, you know,
Yeah. Just a bit like, I'm interested to see. I'm always interested to see what their theme is going to be
mm,
and stuff. I mean, God knows what it's going to be this year. We've had Clown and Carnival now, so hopefully it's nothing too related to that. Maybe it'll be aliens this year. Maybe that'll be the theming, and we'll see a whole bunch of alien themed stuff,
right.
which I wouldn't be against. That's pretty cool if that were the case. But again, I think you want to see some development, even if it was just that they started going down that lines of giving them props that had blinking eyes or something. Just something that shows that they are going, yeah, we are cool at jump scares, and this one also, I don't know, moves its head a bit. I don't know.
Right.
Just
Move
something.
the mouth or something.
Just move the mouth or anything. Just something, not just that pathetic little angel girl that popped up a little bit. It's like,
Oh, I hated that thing so
oh,
much.
I know, I know. And it's
uh,
just like, why? Just something else, please.
Speaking of the alien thing, I'm kind of surprised we don't haven't gotten any like a xenomorph alien, from the Alien movie or Predator or any of those kind of classic
Well, the
alien
classic
monsters.
aliens. Yeah. I mean, I
You
don't
know,
know. Is it just licensing is too expensive for those things? I don't know. Maybe they are. I
maybe.
suppose a xenomorph one is kind of hard. I suppose a little bit hard to create. I suppose I'm trying to think about how you would effectively use that. I suppose you'd want the mouth opening and stuff and the thing coming out of the
Yeah,
mouth.
you probably have the thing come out. It'd probably just be a head
Yeah,
turn with the thing coming
just a
out the
head
mouth,
turn and
but
the thing coming out of the mouth. Yeah,
give it a cool
but
pose, right? You know,
yeah, of course. But this is what I mean. It's like there's so many cool things they could do, these firms, and they don't. And
right?
I always wonder. I started wondering now, like why? Why? What's your bottom line? What?
Right?
What were the discussions that were happening in your boardroom? What was happening? Like, is it that you all sit around and you really analyze the market and you discuss it and you think about new things, or do you just literally ring up China and go, yeah, we want a wolf, we want a werewolf, and a Dracula, some clowns. I'm thinking 4 or 5 clowns. And the Chinese guys are just like, okay, and they just build whatever they fancy. It's like,
Right.
well, is that what happens? I don't know.
I have always wondered, like, with companies like that, like, how much say does Lowe's get, or are they going to companies and saying, what props do you have?
Yeah,
Or what can
exactly.
you give us? Can you give us a collection? Can you give us
Yeah,
something?
yeah. What have you
Uh,
got? And
like a Lowe's and Home Depot have so much, money on hand that to me they
yeah,
should be able to say, this is what we want and
yeah,
find
of
someone to build
course,
it.
of course. I get the feeling that Home Depot have more control over whatever it is that they're producing. I get the feeling that it always feels kind of very them. Like you can
Right,
almost tell a Home Depot prop compared to
right.
any other in a weird
Yeah.
way. Whereas again, you look at Lowe's and you kind of go, well, that could have come from anywhere like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's come from you, but it could have come from anywhere. It could have been eventually, that might have been a Morris Costumes prop as an example, but it is what it is. I don't know.
So real quick, we'll go through a couple quick questions. So first of all, pick three random objects that you're going to see clowns holding this year.
Um,
Because that's what
okay,
they do, right? They hold
yeah,
something.
I'm gonna say frying pan.
Ooh, good.
Uh, I want to say doll. I want to say like a doll, but I
Okay.
think we might have seen that before. But I'm going to say frying pan, doll, and shovel. Frying pan, doll, and shovel.
Okay.
Yeah. What's yours?
Uh, I actually didn't put any. I came up with the question. I didn't put any thought into it. I think we'll get a baseball bat.
Okay. Yeah.
What we should get, and we probably won't, is a squirting flower. I think we should get a
Yeah.
squirting
Okay.
flower prop,
Which would actually be cool. I
which would
have to
actually
say,
make
makes
sense, right?
sense. That makes sense.
And then a third one, a pinata. I
Pinata.
don't know. Right?
Hey, yeah. It could be cool. And do the kids, can they hit the pinata?
Right?
Is it
Beat
hanging over the kids? I don't know.
beat the crap out of
Yeah,
it.
just beat the crap out of the pinata. I know we've had things like nozzles, which was like a toxic waste one, but I always think they kind of suit that a little bit, like a bit of toxic waste
Right.
and slime and
Kind of jokery type thing, right?
yeah, Joker type stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like you said, like shooting the flower, but it being like it's toxic waste coming
Right.
out the flower, and yeah, that would
Cool.
make sense. But no, we're probably more likely to see, I don't know, like a chef one, which is frying pan. That's
Right.
where I was going with it. Yeah.
For sure. Yep.
We'll see.
So next question. What do you expect to see for retail ripoffs? So every year we see a retail version of a Beastcraft, Distortions, right? So what do you think we might get ripped off this year?
Ooh, what from something that's already exists, like something from Distortions, as an
Yeah, something
example.
from like a higher end quality that we're going to see retail do a terrible job with.
Well, I mean, you could now. I mean, I was almost going to say like so. Beastcraft did the big Raven guy, right? And I do get this feeling, especially with the fact we've got that bird-faced Lowe's what a monstrosity of a plague doctor, that this is almost what they're going down. I can imagine, like, so I liked what Home Depot did with their Great Big Reaper last year. Amazing.
Yep.
But it did give me vibes of the Beastcraft Big Reaper. It
course.
gave me the same sort of vibe. So I can imagine them maybe ripping off that a little bit, going down that road.
Yep.
Or possibly something. I like the Asylum guy, you know, the guy that was like jiggling, that guy that looked really realistic,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a rip-off version of that, like a much cheaper, nastier looking version of that.
Yep.
That I can imagine them going, yeah, there's some merit in that, because they always like Spirit, that Spirit's kind of vibe, I think. Like they like the whole asylum mental patient type thing. I could definitely see Spirit ripping off that in some way.
Sure. I think that I think we'll get kind of a rip off of Distortion Spider from last year with the kind of the big brain butt thing.
Yeah, the alien, yeah, could do.
I think we'll get some kind of rip off, just like they ripped off the spider, the pumpkin spider one.
Yeah, they did.
I could see a Dapper Dan kind of rip off. So similar to that kind of ghost, but you know, similar vibe, but not looking so great.
Yeah. Less dapper, more crapper. Crapper dap.
So that's kind of what I think we'll see there. What big horror franchises do you think we'll see props for this year? So obviously we already know we're getting Corpse Bride.
I will be very surprised if we don't see a Nosferatu.
Yep.
I know we had the Victorian Vampire from Home Depot last year, but Nosferatu, the movie, has already been so big at the end of last year. It might have happened too late, but then it was being produced like way back in like last March or something. So I'll be surprised if no one else does a Nosferatu type prop.
Right.
But then saying that, this is more where I would have said that's what Party City would have done. If Party City had still been around, that would be where I say they'd have done that. And maybe, well, they can't because they're not around. So maybe possibly Spirit might, because they did the whole Terrifier thing last year.
Right. We got the Wolfman movie too.
Wolfman, yeah. So that could happen, definitely. What do you think might be on its way?
So I'm trying to think as far as classics go. We already know we get another Michael Myers.
Yes. I hope this one's a better one.
We'll probably get another Jason, I'm thinking.
Yes, probably.
I would like to see, and I actually have never seen the movie, which is weird, but I always thought the design was cool, was that it's like Pumpkinhead, is that his name? That weird creature.
Pumpkinhead. I can't think who that is. Pumpkinhead. I'm no good at horror. Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, he's like this cool monster. I would love to see something like that. I don't even know how to describe him. He's kind of closest to like an alien type thing. Kind of like a scarier version. Have you ever seen Alien 4?
Okay. Yeah.
With that weird like human-y alien at the end. It's like a scarier version of that. He's kind of alien, like monster humanoid, but that kind of skin color, but like scary face.
Sounds cool. I'm gonna have to check it out now. Yeah. Like I always thought a cool horror franchise prop would have been like, I know he has been done before, but in like Pinhead, you know, like from we've not actually had Freddy Krueger for a while. Like I haven't, you know, like we had Chucky twice last year. Was it two different Chucky props last year? So yeah, maybe a Freddy Krueger. We might get a Freddy possibly, because we've had a couple of ghost faces now for a while, haven't we? So yeah, I'm going to put my money on Freddy Krueger. Yeah, that's what I think we might see.
I'd like to see a good Freddy Krueger. You know, just like a really good sculpt of Robert Englund's face would be awesome.
That's right. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, one we have to do. It's less Halloween. Which Home Depot Star Wars characters do you think we're getting this year?
That's a good one. Oh, you want to say Boba Fett, maybe.
Right.
You want to say that for me would be an obvious choice, especially with...
That's my answer too. That's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, you'd lean that way. Do you know what I'd love to see? But they'll never ever do it because it's just too crazy. I'd love to see Jabba. It just, could you imagine? It's
That would be
just
awesome.
massive Jabba the Hutt. That would be amazing.
That would
It's
be
not gonna
pretty.
ever. No one's ever going to do it, but it would be amazing.
Yep.
With the little weird whatever the thing was called, laughing, laughing away. Awesome.
I think
get a Carrie Fisher on a chain as well next to yeah,
there you
amazing.
go. So Boba Fett is my most likely guess.
Mm.
And part of me wonders if Disney would jump in and say, no, it's going to be the Mandalorian Grogu.
Well, yeah,
And then technically you could do the whole line and you could do a Jango Fett, right? So you could
yeah,
have all the
yeah.
different
You could
Mandalorian
go.
armor people.
Yeah, nah, I think if you go in classic Star Wars, you've got to go Boba Fett. It's
And
got to be.
I think they would probably go lean Boba Fett. But I could see them doing a Grogu thing just because
Yeah, I could see that.
marketing.
I could definitely see that. They could possibly go down the line of doing a little Ewok or something. I can imagine.
Yeah,
I can imagine them doing that almost as their kind of cutesy, possibly even Christmas related
right.
one.
And then, like I said, I think I said last year in some we did C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah, yeah.
Classic. I would buy those in a second.
I mean, like you said, I think C-3PO wouldn't even be that much of a stretch from the Stormtrooper that you've got behind you.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
not
same.
a million miles off.
No, same
Just
type of build.
yeah,
Eyes light up, head
yeah,
turns. Maybe get
exactly.
one of these with the arms, Uh, and then R2,
Yeah,
you'd literally just have the lights and you spin the head a little bit. Done.
this is it, and you're done. I mean, and everyone would be happy with that. Everyone would be like, "This
Right?
is awesome. This
And
is
R2 wouldn't
amazing."
be saying stupid Christmas stuff or holiday
Exactly,
stuff.
and you've not got to create a mouth to move or anything. It's
Right?
just beeps and whistles. So yeah, awesome.
Yep.
Definitely. They'd kind of be stupid not to make an R2 actually, because that has got to be that's got to be such an easy thing to build.
You print it prints money. So,
That does print money, definitely. Definitely.
okay.
Any
And
more
then
questions? Anything else? Go on. Throw it at me.
I think just last thing is just, how do you feel the state of the industry is going into this year? Halloween's been big, but we lost a few competitors.
I don't know. I came into last year feeling very, very positive. And I think I've come into this year. I think I am positive, but I think maybe a little bit of realism has struck me. Last year maybe hit me a bit kind of and made me go, ooh, really rein it in a little bit, Dan. Your expectations are crazy high. I don't know. I think that it's quite a buoyant market. I think it's doing well. I think it's still growing in the States, which is great. And I think it's still growing here too. But I think losing places like Party City and stuff is not going to do it any benefit. It's not going to be a good move. I'm here waiting really still for one of our big firms to do what Home Depot does. That's what I'm waiting for here.
Yep.
And that would change the market here overnight, in my opinion. For you guys, I don't know what the next step is. I think, like I say, it's already exploded. It's just how much further can it explode? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or are we going to see, is it going to be the slowdown? Are we going to see the slowdown and are people going to start going almost back to what they did before, which was basically make their own or take a prop and like do something of their own with it? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm still very positive about it. I still think there's a lot of room for awesome things to be developed. But it's, like I say, losing places like Party City, I don't think is a good thing. It's not. It's going to have, I think it could have a negative effect in the long run.
I almost feel like if it's not this year, this is the year that puts it over the edge. I think we're going to start seeing a little bit of a pullback.
Yes.
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
How many of the Rattles imitations can you have? Like, I mean, it got to the point where like you could almost walk into a drugstore and there'd be some imitation Rattles prop sitting at the end. You know what I mean? Like there's just like so many of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And ironic that the person that made it's out of business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this year, like we're seeing stuff already so early that this might be the year that they
Yes.
just overdo it, and people are just kind of like,
Yes.
you need to stop. Like this,
It could be. It could be.
I love seeing it, but even me, it's
Mm,
kind of just like, well, I'm
mm,
not ready to talk about a Lowe's lineup in
mm.
January 2nd,
January.
maybe.
This is what I mean. It was pretty crazy. I have to admit, I will just say, someone wrote in the comments of my video when I was talking about the lows, and they were like, "I like these videos, but at the same time, it is way too early, and I
Yeah,
wish that." Like I always feel sometimes like a bit of a fraud in a way because I don't. I'm making a video about lows, but I'm only giving my opinion. I
right.
don't know any further information than anybody else does, and and I think sometimes people are like, "Oh, a guy talking about lows, he's got to have an inside track," and I'm like, "No, I'm just talking about the stuff
Right,
exactly the same stuff you've already seen." And yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I think this could potentially be the year where the bubble pops,
right.
possibly a little bit. And these firms have all pushed themselves as much. I don't think they've pushed themselves as much as they can. I think they've pushed too early, too fast.
Right.
And by the time I hear it from a lot of people, by the time you get to September, people are burnt out. They're like, I've seen all this. Like, I've seen all these props. I've seen all these animatronics. None of this is a surprise to me anymore.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, we as YouTubers add to that a little bit. But I do think as well, I think it's the firms themselves. I think they are launching things too early, too quick,
Yeah. Of
leaking things too early, too quick. I know why, because they want
course.
people to get excited for their stuff. But at the same time, it does, you get to Halloween, and at least within our community, nothing's surprising or new or exciting because you've
Right.
seen it all like in February and stuff.
And I think that's why Home Depot
Mm,
realized that, and
yes.
we didn't know their stuff until was
No.
the end of June, early July. Like it was
Yeah. Something like
late.
that.
Yeah, because they had
Yeah.
their big release. So that was in early July, you know?
They did halfway to Halloween, and
Yep. It
that's
just
when you got your
and
Frankenstein's monster,
yep.
wasn't it? But
But
no
they
one
just
had
did
actually
three.
seen any official footage of anything
Yeah, they
at
had
that
like three
point.
quick props, but everything else was still under wraps. So
Yeah,
I think that's the way more places should go.
yeah.
Uh,
I think Spirit do it to a degree where they
yep.
keep
No,
people
they do
waiting.
too. Yep.
But then they did that thing last year, which I think was a mistake, where they launched the names,
Oh yeah.
and then everyone was like, "Oh, what could it be?" People like us were kind of disappointed by what the reality of those things was. So I think maybe just keep things under wraps. Personally, I think if just drop it like a day before you open your stores. Like,
Eh,
hey,
But I mean, I've on one hand, it's good for people like us,
of
because
course,
I like talking and speculating, and kind of in
yeah,
response to, I saw the comment that guy had posted on your
yeah,
channel,
yeah.
and I almost wrote a response, but I'm just like, well, he's basically saying he doesn't like the fact that people just throw opinions out. It's like, so does he really want to hear my opinion about his comment?
I did respond, but I sort of was like, I'm just a guy who likes Halloween, and
Right.
I just talk about
And
Halloween stuff.
and I totally understand where they're coming from, but on the end, it's just like anything that you get excited about, you want to talk about and speculate about,
Of course,
and
yeah,
that's what we're doing.
yeah. I mean, I get people say to me all the time, because I'm from the UK and obviously I don't have access to the majority of this stuff. I get people saying to me, "Why are you even talking about this stuff? Why have we got to hear your opinion on it?" And I'm like, "Valid point, valid, valid. You're right. I don't have the same inside track to you and stuff, but I think you're missing the point. I'm talking about it because I love it. I like Halloween and I love this stuff. And just because I'm not going to get to buy it or use it, or, well, not some of it anyway, it doesn't mean I don't want to share my enjoyment of that thing. You know, in the same way that I didn't get involved in the production of a movie, but I'm still going to talk about the movie if I really
Right?
like it.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
I think that's what, people don't get because for some of us, it's just the culture of talking about it is what's exciting,
Yeah,
the
that's right. It's getting
speculation and
excited.
getting, yeah, the
This is
excitement.
it. This is exactly what it is. And, it's fine. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. You don't want to hear my opinion. You don't have to hear it. I'm not making you listen to my opinion. And sometimes my opinion's wrong. I'm happy to be proven wrong. But I think you stop people giving their opinions on stuff on YouTube, and YouTube fades.
Right.
It's like, you just shut YouTube down right now, because that's basically what YouTube is.
Right.
People giving their opinions on stuff.
Exactly. Okay, everybody. Thank you for watching. Again, if you didn't see part one, you're going to go back and watch part one now because it's really good. We talk about all the stuff that came out. But thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. And hey, we're in the new year. We're past Christmas. Next major holiday, as far as I'm concerned, is Halloween. So spooky season's coming, guys. Go get ready.
And I nearly said it again. I was nearly saying it. Don't say it. Every time. Nearly
Hey,
said
after
it.
that one time, it's kind of a thing, right?
Go get ready. I nearly said it. I was so close to saying it.
So,
Right.
all
Okay.
right,
Well, that was fun. A lot of fun.
That was a long
Nice
one.
to catch up. It was a long one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to do some editing.
You don't think people want to hear 2 hours of
you.
us?
I'm pretty sure they don't want to hear 2 hours of rambling. But,
So,
it's a lot of fun nevertheless. Even
Yeah.
if we've got nothing to talk about, to be honest.
yeah, just chatting.
It's still
you know?
fun. Just chatting about Halloween stuff and
Right.
putting the world to rights. That's
Exactly.
all it.
Well,
Nice
it's
to
been fun.
speak to you, bud.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll talk
I'll see you
soon.
soon.
All right.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Oh, it didn't work. There we go.